We're here at the home and property of a local master gardener, Mary McFarland, who's locally recognized as a bulb expert in this area. Mary, tell us a little bit about the property here.
Well, it's 50 acres that we moved to after we retired 13 years ago. And we wanted something self-sustaining as much as possible. And we wanted something that the deer would not eat. And daffodils was the answer to that.
So come with us as we show you how to plant bulbs into your landscape. Any bulb is really nothing more than a vertically reduced stem that's also surrounded by leaves, and these leaves are modified for starch storage. Now there's also a root end and a shoot end. The root end is usually planted down in the hole while the stem end is pointing up. So Mary, I see you've prepared some ground out here for some bulbs. Tell us how you made the bed preparations.
With this particular bed, I just loosened the soil and worked in some compost. However, if I were preparing this for a flower bed, I would build it up more and use a lot more dirt and compost for good drainage. Here, it's on a hill, so it has good drainage going downhill. Daffodils do not like wet feet. They want good drainage. This tool is wonderful whether you're planting a few or many, because you simply push down, the dirt comes up when you push down the next hole. You want to vary these holes and not have them in a straight line so they'll look more natural. And you want several. You don't want one thin, long, straight line. If you were to plant these 4 inches apart if you wanted a mass display, but out in nature where you want them to look more natural, they are going to multiply every year. So go ahead and put them maybe 6 inches apart.
So now we can come in and put the bulb down in the hole, root side down, the stem side up. So Mary, here you've prepared a bed for some bulbs. Tell us how you made the bed preparation.
Actually, this is for just putting the beds out in nature rather than an actual prepared bed as you would have in a flower garden.
Okay.
So I've just dug up to the depth that I want to plant the bulb, which is 3 times the height of the bulb.
Okay.
So it's about 6 inches, since these bulbs are a little over an inch. So this is 6 to 8 inches. This is one way for a large area if you had many bulbs you wanted to plant. For a natural look, you don't want them in straight lines, and you want them approximately 5 to 6 inches apart. If you were planting in a flower bed, you would probably put them about 4 inches apart. But out in nature, these are going to multiply, and we want them to have room. And so we stagger them down in the hole, and all we'll need to do is pull the dirt over them once they're placed. This way you can do quite a few in one session.
Now, one of the great qualities about bulbs is their versatility. They can be planted into a prepared bed just like we showed you, or if you have large areas of land where you're still trying to decide what to do with the landscaping, you can naturalize bulbs into a large area and you'll have a wonderful spring bloom. And Mary, there's a tool specifically for naturalizing bulbs into a large area. Tell us about this.
This is my favorite bulb planting tool. It has a sharp end, a blade, so it can cut through roots and other growth in the ground. It could be used almost anywhere, but especially good out when you're trying to naturalize. You simply press down, then you bend forward, press again, lift forward, and it makes a perfect opening to drop the bulb in. Once again, remembering to put your basal plate down first and your pointy end coming up. Then your partner can just come along and either push the dirt over with the hands or actually step on it to move the dirt over. Using this tool, you could plant, 1,000 bulbs a day easily with the 2 of you working. Again, when you're naturalizing, you want it to look natural. So you would plant these not in a straight row, but come back and zigzag them, or perhaps in a circle as though it's a large clump.
So Mary, in conclusion, if someone wanted to plant bulbs around their home, what are some things they need to keep in mind?
bulbs are very forgiving, but there are a few things that they need. They all need good drainage. They don't like wet feet, and they'll tend to rot if they get too much water at the wrong time. The second thing is they're very forgiving of soil types, but they thrive in sandy loam. And the third thing, especially with the daffodils, don't cut off the greenery. Let it yellow and fall down. You may want to plant around other flowers so they'll hide that yellowing foliage.
All good tips for growing bulbs successfully in your landscape. For State by State Gardening, I'm Kerry Hefner.
And I'm Mary McFarland.